Hi, welcome. It is Wednesday, April 29th. And that means, since it's Wednesday, that it is time for 6th through 8th grade. Today is week 2 in talking about resiliency. Next week is going to be my last of my online classes. So we will finish up resiliency next week, week 3. And that will be the last of my online classes. But I've really enjoyed the time that I've been able to spend with you guys here online. So we're going to get right into it. Let's talk a little bit about last week. Last week we talked about was our first week of resiliency, and we talked about what that means, what resiliency means, and we talked about looking at it as a closed door and an open door. And I'm sorry, my nose is just, I have seasonal allergies. So sometimes when a door closes, another opens. And we talked about how sometimes it can be tough to recognize that other door opening. Sometimes we have to grieve that door closing, and that's okay. It's okay to do so. You don't get to drop anchor and live there and grieve it forever, but you do get to spend some time kind of grieving that door closing. And so that's what we talked about last week. You're always welcome to go back and refresh last week's video. I was not able to get things on Google Classroom today. So you'll need a blank sheet of paper. And just like with all of the lessons, even when they're put on Google Classroom, if you can't print them off, it's fine. All you need is a blank sheet of paper. So we're going to get right into week 2 of resiliency. And this one is talking about values, using our values to help us be resilient, to be better about how we deal with things, training ourselves to get through difficult times that with more grace, to do it in a really healthy way. So I have this big list of values, and if you want the list, please drop it in the comments and let me know, and I will make sure to get it to you. But we're going to go through some of these values. So acceptance, achievement, adventure, affection, altruism. What does that mean? It means like what do you give? What do you do for your community? Do you work with nonprofits? Do you contribute to charity? Things like that. Arts, beauty is a value for some. Change, community, compassion. That's a great value. Connectedness, cooperation, creativity, decisiveness, democracy, diversity, environmental awareness, education, efficiency, excellence, experimentation, happiness. Happiness is a big value for a lot of people. Ethics, friendship, freedom, grace, growth, harmony, health, humor. Humor is a big value of mine personally. I love humor. Honesty, imagination, independence. That's a very important value for many people. Independence. I'm consulting my notes here. Influencing others, purity, whatever that looks like for you, recognition, intellect, involvement, making a difference, meaningful work, mystery, nature, openness, personal development, planning, privacy. That's a big value for some. Risk, safety, and security, self-respect, service, sophistication, spirituality, status, tenderness, unity, wealth, wisdom. So that is some of this long list of values. That's some of those. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about using our values to build resistance. So again, I have to consult my notes because I can't remember everything. So the goal of this exercise is to help you manage a challenging life event by connecting to what's important within you, connecting to your core values. What are your core values? And how do you connect to those in times that are really tough? So the first step is to describe a challenging life event. Now, this can be any challenging life event that you have gone through. It could be what you're going through right now. This global pandemic that has all of us staying home, staying healthy, not being able to go to school for some kids for the rest of the year. If that is a life challenge, you could use that. If there's another life challenge, such as moving schools, losing a friend, anything that you have found challenging, there's no right or wrong. This is all you. This is all up to you. So describe the challenging life event. That's the first thing I want you to do. And if you need to pause this and do that, great. Step 2, identify reasons to get through the challenge. What are the reasons to get through a challenge? Sometimes it could be just to get to the other side of it, to feel some semblance of normalcy again, to see friends again. If we use this current situation as an example. So what's a reason to get through this challenge? What's a reason to say stay home and not go to school for the rest of the year? Hopefully so that everybody else stays healthy and that when we do all get back together, no one's missing. What are some other reasons to get through the challenge? Again, just to return to some kind of normalcy, to see friends again, to continue with school. If you're a senior and you're graduating, maybe it's to continue on to college or trade school or an internship, to go back to work maybe. So I know this is for 6th to 8th graders, but sometimes older kids watch these videos as well. So what are some reasons to get through a challenge? And what were some of your reasons to get through your difficult life challenge? And I want you to consider those, and I want you to write those down. That's your second step. So maybe to get through a challenge, finding something new to explore and to do, to take on. And then the third thing I want you to do is identify your values. So again, those are the things that you are important to you in your life, like honesty, kindness, care, helping others, whatever those core values, those things are in you that are very important. And then I want you and consider the last step where we talked about reasons to get through a life challenge. So if one of those things is to see your friends again, then that value would be caring. That value would be friendship. That value would be community. So think about your core values and things that are important to you. And think about step 2, like why you would get through those challenges. Step 3 is identifying the values, your values that help you get through challenges, and what was important to you in your core. What makes you who you are? A lot of times we get our values from our families. Maybe spirituality in church is a really big family value of yours. That could be a reason to get through a difficult challenge. Family can be another family value. You've heard of family values. What your family's core values are, maybe integrity, being there for the family. What are your core values as an individual? So identify those and write those down. The fourth thing is staying in touch with your values. So when stressful life events occur, it can be really difficult to stay in touch with those values. If level-headedness is one of your values, it can be pretty hard when you're really stressed out to keep to that value. That can be a difficult challenge. The stress that results from stressful events can absorb so much of our attention that we lose our values in that. We lose track of what's really important to us because we are so focused on this life event. That's why it can be hard. Like last week, we talked about seeing the open doors. That's why it can be hard to see new doors opening and new opportunities opening for you because you're so absorbed in what's going on. It's kind of like there's this old saying, seeing the forest through the trees. You're so busy focused on the trees, you don't see the whole. So yet, values can act as a light in the darkness in stressful times, reminding us why it's worth fighting for something and to keep going and to keep taking responsibility. You are worth fighting for. Every single one of you. You are all worth fighting for. You are all worth being here for. All of you. Every single one of you. Sorry to keep moving around. I have to plug in my computer. I didn't do that earlier. So you're all worth keeping around for. You're all worth it. You're all worth keeping going. So this step involves creating like a visual reminder of your values. So take a blank piece of paper. It can be an individual piece of paper. It can be in your journal. It can be on your vision board or your win board, either one of those, that represents your values visually in a way that you choose. You can use photographs. You can use illustrations. If you've ever done a vision board, you usually take things from magazines and other print media that you find, and you cut those out and you put those on a board. This is kind of similar, but it's with your values. So you're creating a visual of your values. And again, if you like to draw, then draw those, illustrate it, and words or a combination of words. And you can also create a digital representation of your values, like a PowerPoint. These are my values. These are who make me, me. This is what makes me who I am, and these are my values. And allow yourself to be as creative as you like. Make it as cool as you want, however you want that. Because it's going to ensure that however you choose to present it, whether it's in a journal or a blank piece of paper or on a vision board, that it resonates with you, that it makes sense to you, that it's something that you like looking at. So after you've completed your visual reminder, put it somewhere that you're going to see it every day. It could be at your desk, it could be on the fridge, it could be on your wall. If you do it in a journal, then it's something that maybe you look at every day. But write down those values, the things that you stay in touch with when things are tough. Sorry, I thought I saw a comment. So write those down and put those somewhere where you're going to see them all the time. So we've gone through and we've identified our values. We hopefully you chose a life event that you've already got through, so that you could do that second step, reasons to get through the challenge. But if you chose what we're going through right now, that's great. And then, so we identified our values, and then we're going to stay in touch with those. We're going to stay in touch with what makes us who we are. And again, that can come from your family, that can come from your church, it can come from your trusted adults, it can come from education, anything, whatever those core values are in you, the things that you deem important. And they're going to be different for everybody, and that's great. Not everybody has the same set of core values. I know some people whose values, they're very driven in being very successful at work. I know other people whose core values are successfully raising children. Some whose core values are helping in their community. And you can have several, and you should have several core values. And whatever those are what make you, you, and those are the things that are important to you. So that when you are going through hard times, you remember to connect to who that person is inside, that makes you so amazing. And you are all so amazing. I would love to hear what those values are. I would love to see a vision board or, an illustration, anything that you put down for what your core values are. There are no right and wrong. These are your core values. These are the things that make you tick and the things that are most important to you. I would love to see those. You can drop those in the comments below. So next week, remember, we are going to finish up our 3 weeks of resiliency. And then I will not be teaching classes online anymore. If you ever have questions or you want to share some artwork or anything with me, I would love, 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 love to see that. You can email me at Sarah, S-A-R-A, and the letter O, Sarah O, at G as in great, H as in harbor, beyondsurvival.com. So that's Sarah O at GHbeyondsurvival.com. All right, you guys, I will see you next week. I hope that you have just a super, super, super duper week. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. If you live in Western Washington, it looks like it's going to start raining soon. So snuggle up and binge watch one of your favorite shows. If you're a parent or educator, be sure to hit subscribe so that when we do new videos, you don't miss them. And I will see you guys next week. So remember, be kind and wash your hands. Bye-bye.